if I'm being totally honest, I think at this point now, the difference between the HX Stomp and the Podgo has been established enough. There's enough of a precedent over time that, personally, I think if you're looking for someone to make that choice for you about which you should buy, for me personally, I would get either the HX Stomp or the HX Stomp XL. Beard hair. For me, I think having the parallel paths, having the Tone Sovereign, which is the king of tone, having the Space Echo, the Cosmos Echo, there are certain models that we now know are never going to come to the Podgo for processing reasons, lack of processing power. That doesn't mean that the Podgo can't do decent tones though. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the video is just build a certain tone and show you how I would go about doing this sort of thing. Leave a comment if you dig your Podgo still. Leave a comment if you've upgraded it or moved on. Just let me know. You've got obviously all of the same amp models as you have in the real Helix, which is a bonus. Well, I say a bonus, but you know, the Podgo is definitely the cheapest way into the Helix world. One of my favourite models is the Line 6 Litigator. So what I'm going to do is start on Snapshot Snapshot C, and you see up here I've got this snapshot recall off. Now when I'm writing presets, I like to actually turn this off because it can, so this snapshot edits is what you want to do for this. It can sort of make things difficult. It means you have to press save every time you switch a snapshot. I'll show you later on what I mean by that. So now I'm also using my own cab here. You'll get this in the presets if you choose to grab my Podgo's tones. And what we get straight out of the bat with the default settings, right, so that's already just a really pleasant tone in my opinion. So reverb wise, I really like the sound of the Glitz reverb. Now this is sort of platey, sort of modulated plate style. I like to take the hi cat up a bit from where it is, and maybe I think it's probably best to keep this mix down slightly lower for this kind of video. What I'd also do is turn on trails, I think, for this, just in case in any of the snapshots I choose to turn it off. So, I mean, that to me is already feeling and sounding pretty good. Now, so that could easily just be my clean tone. So the only other thing I'm going to do is just add on a delay here as well. Now for this sort of thing, I really like a transistor tape delay. I think that's got a really cool sound, so we'll chuck this on. Now what we've got here is this headroom setting. I would put this all the way up so that we don't clip the transistor tape. You can get some clipping if you want that sort of thing, but for me I want to keep it cleaner if possible. And this has got the wire flutter here, I turn that up a bit. Also, time here, if we press this button, we can switch so that it'll be linked to our tap tempo, which is down the bottom corner. So I think I'll set that to be like 8th dots. So that's going to be our clean tone. So I want C snapshot clean without delay, and D will be with delay, and so that's relatively straightforward. I'll just save this as that for now. I'll give it a proper name once I've decided what sort of tone we're going for. So the next thing that I feel I'm going to try and do is dial in some sort of lead tone. Now one of the things that I like to do and what we can use these for is to probably use the Rochester comp, and just with the default settings I quite like, to boost the gain in front of this. So we're going to use Top Secret OD, and this is going to be our lead tone, and this might get a bit loud, so I'm going to just take down the channel volume. The cool thing about snapshots, if you hold this in and turn it, you can change settings per snapshot, so you've got like super amount of stuff that you can do with this. The other thing to do, because we're suddenly getting a lot of gain, is to turn on this gate per snapshot. So if we turn it on, you know, hold it in and turn, we've got a gate on the input. For the clean tones I prefer not to have a gate, but for driven tones I definitely want a gate. And then the other thing is that, as we said, we can change elements per snapshot. So it's sounding to me pretty decent. The other thing that I like to do, possibly for my lead tones, is take the treble down. So if I hold this in and turn to the left, we can have less treble for our lead tone. So take this down to about 3, and then for mids, I'm going to boost these up to maybe about 7.5, and what we get then is... Okay, right. And then the other thing, what's the level like between these two? So I definitely want those bypassed for that as well. Bypass, bypass. So we've now got our clean with delay, our clean, and our lead. Cool, and then I might want a rhythm tone, and so for this I might keep the mids and trebles roughly similar, but take the channel volume down a bit beneath my lead tone, and probably turn off the transistor tape, which I want the trails on for, and yeah, then we can have rhythm on snapshot 1. Okay, then lead on snapshot 2. Clean on snapshot 3. And on snapshot D, we got our... So, the other thing we can do, if we press mode, we get to our pedal mode. Now, I don't really want a pedal assigned to the effects loop, so what I'm going to do instead, we've got the Rochester comp down here, we've got Top Secret OD, transistor tape. What else could we do? So again, you go to bypass assign here, bypass control, and find the one that you want to change, and I can then just change none. And you could also change the order of where your switches are in this way. So say if I've decided I want my reverb to be on foot switch A, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, foot switch 5 is down here, and I want my compressor to be up here, so that's foot switch 3. And then I've got delay you can, you know, switch it around in that way. So then what did I want? Okay, I want to go to transistor tape and feedback. I want controlled by foot switch 2, 54, maximum value like 84, 85. Let's try save this, and then so that's kind of me kind of playing around with that preset. Let me know if you want me to drop it into the folder. What can we call it? You know, I feel like this is quite a useful kind of do it all kind of preset. So let me know if you want me to drop it into the folder. It's you know, just a really fun one to play with. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Pod Go. I think, you know, for sure it's got plenty of uses. I think in terms of form factor and stuff, it's decent. I think for me personally, an HX Stomp or an HX Stomp XL might be what I'd go for, so you get the same kind of form factor in terms of the number of switches. But it's not to say that if you've got a Pod Go, there aren't loads of really cool things you can do with it. And also I think it's got an actually kind of better display for a lot of things for many people. Certainly a little bit more readable than the smaller HX Stomp screen. But yeah, that's kind of a little preset demonstration. Hopefully that was useful in some way. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.